this journey, you may notice that relationships are restored in ways you never thought possible. People who once seemed distant or estranged may reach out with a renewed desire for connection. Old misunderstandings are cleared up and broken bonds are repaired. This restoration isn't always immediate, but when it comes, it carries a sweetness that can only be attributed to God's hand. These renewed relationships become a testament to the power of grace and forgiveness, reflecting the love that God has shown you. There's also a sense of divine alignment that begins to take shape. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly fall into place and resources appear just when they're needed. This isn't coincidence. It's the unmistakable work of a God who knows the end from the beginning. As you step into these moments of alignment, you realize that your steps are being ordered by the Lord. He is leading you into places you never dreamed you would go, opening doors that no one can shut. As God restores your wasted years, He also strengthens your faith. The journey of restoration often involves stepping into the unknown, trusting Him with the details, even when the path isn't clear. This requires a level of faith that stretches you, but it also grows you. You learn to rely on His promises, to take Him at His word, even when circumstances suggest otherwise. And as you see His faithfulness time and time again, your faith becomes unshakable. It becomes the foundation that sustains you, the anchor that keeps you steady in every storm. In this season, you may find yourself becoming more aware of God's presence in your everyday life. You begin to see His fingerprints on everything, on the people you meet, the conversations you have, the opportunities that come your way. This awareness brings a sense of peace and joy that transcends circumstances. You realize that God is not only restoring your past, but is also walking with you every step of the way. His presence becomes your greatest treasure, the source of your strength, and the reason for your hope. God's restoration often comes with a renewed sense of gratitude. As you reflect on all that He has done, you can't help but be overwhelmed by His goodness. The blessings, the breakthroughs, the moments of grace, they all point to a God who loves you more than you can imagine. This gratitude transforms your perspective, helping you to see even the challenges of life as opportunities for growth and refinement. It shifts your focus from what you've lost to what you've gained, from the pain of the past to the promise of the future. You may also find that your capacity to love others increases during this process. As you experience God's unconditional love and forgiveness, you are compelled to extend that same love to those around you. This love isn't based on what others can do for you. It's rooted in the understanding that you have been loved and forgiven much. It's a love that seeks to serve, to uplift, to bring hope to those who are hurting. And in loving others, you reflect the heart of God, becoming a vessel of His grace and mercy. In this journey of restoration, God often reveals the purpose behind your pain. The trials you've endured, the tears you've cried, the battles you've fought, all of it has prepared you for the calling He has placed on your life. The experiences that once felt like wasted years now become the foundation for your testimony, the story that God will use to encourage and inspire others. You realize that nothing has been wasted, not a single moment, not a single tear. Everything has been woven together for your good and His glory. God's restoration also brings a deep sense of joy that cannot be shaken. This joy isn't dependent on circumstances. It comes from knowing that you are in the center of His will. It's a joy that sustains you through the ups and downs of life, a joy that reminds you that God is for you and that nothing can separate you from His love. This joy becomes your strength, empowering you to face each day with confidence and hope. As you walk through this process, you begin to see the fruit of God's restoration in every area of your life. Your relationships are healthier, your purpose is clearer, and your faith is stronger. You are no longer defined by your past, you are defined by who you are in Christ. This transformation is not just for your benefit, it is a testimony to the world of what God can do. People who see your life are drawn to the God who restores, the God who makes all things new. The journey of restoration is not always easy, but it is always worth it. There will be moments of challenge, moments when you have to trust God, even when you don't understand what He is doing. But in those moments, you will find that His grace is sufficient. He gives you the strength to keep going, the courage to keep believing, and the faith to keep trusting. And as you look back on this journey, you will see His faithfulness in every step, His goodness in every detail. Through this process, God teaches you to depend on Him in ways you never have before. You learn to seek Him first, to prioritize your relationship with Him above all else. This dependence isn't a sign of weakness. It's a recognition of your need for His guidance and provision. It's an acknowledgement that apart from Him, you can do nothing. And in this dependence, you find a freedom and a peace that you've never known before. As God restores your wasted years, He also redeems your story. The parts of your life that once brought shame or regret now become evidence of His grace. The mistakes you made, the wrong turns you took, the years you spent far from Him, all of it is transformed into a testimony of His love and redemption. Your story becomes a beacon of hope for others, a reminder that no one is beyond the reach of God's grace. In this season, you may find yourself reflecting on the faithfulness of God in new ways. The times when you thought He was silent, the moments when you felt abandoned, those were the times when He was working behind the scenes, preparing you for what was to come. His faithfulness is not always visible in the moment, but as you look back, you can see His hand in every detail. And this realization deepens your trust in Him, giving you the confidence to face whatever lies ahead. God's restoration is not just about what He gives you, it's about who He is. He is a God of compassion, a God of mercy, a God who delights in bringing His children into the fullness of His blessings. His restoration is an expression of His love for you, a demonstration of His commitment to never leave you or forsake you. It is a reminder that you are deeply valued, that your life matters, and that He has a plan for you that is far greater than anything you could imagine. This restoration process is not merely a return to what once was. It is a transformation into something entirely new. God takes the broken pieces of your life and creates something beautiful, something that reflects His glory. He doesn't just fill the empty spaces, He overflows them with His blessings. This transformation is a testament to His power, a reminder that nothing is impossible with Him. Through it all, you will come to understand that God's restoration is not just about reclaiming the years you've lost, it's about stepping into the abundant life He has promised. It's about walking in the fullness of His grace, experiencing the depth of His love, and living out the purpose He has for you. It's about knowing that you are not defined by your past, but by the God who is making all things new. And as you continue on this journey, you will see His faithfulness in ways that leave you in awe, reminding you that He truly is the God who restores all things. This restoration journey is deeply personal, tailored uniquely to the life God has given you. It unfolds in ways that might surprise you, ways that defy logic and human expectations. You begin to see His hand orchestrating events that seemed unrelated, weaving them into a tapestry of purpose and meaning. What once felt random It becomes clear that God's plans for you are not hindered by your mistakes or the actions of others. Instead, He uses even those things to bring about His perfect will. The process of restoration often requires a shift in perspective. It calls you to see beyond the natural and into the spiritual, to trust that God is working even when evidence seems scarce. This is where faith becomes essential. Faith allows you to stand firm when doubts arise, to hold on to hope when circumstances seem hopeless. It's in these moments of faith that you discover a deeper relationship with God. You learn to lean on Him, not just for what He can give, but for who He is. You find peace in His presence and strength in His promises, knowing that He will never leave or forsake you. As time passes, you may notice that the restoration is not confined to what you once lost. It extends far beyond. God doesn't merely give back what was taken, He multiplies it. The relationships that were fractured are not only mended but enriched. The opportunities that seemed gone forever are replaced with doors that lead to even greater possibilities. The joy and peace you experience surpass anything you've known before. This abundance is not because of anything you've earned, but because of who God is. His nature is to bless, to restore, and to redeem. Through this season, your capacity to trust grows. Trust in God becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded even when storms arise. You realize that restoration is not about perfection, but about progress. It's about moving forward with God's guidance, learning to walk in step with His Spirit. This trust allows you to release the need for control, to surrender your plans and embrace His. And in doing so, you find freedom from fear, from striving, from the weight of trying to make things happen on your own. You come to understand that His ways are higher than your ways, and His thoughts are higher than your thoughts. There's also a profound sense of healing that accompanies restoration. The wounds of the past, the scars you've carried begin to fade as God's love fills the empty spaces of your heart. His healing isn't always instantaneous, but it is always thorough. It reaches the deepest parts of you, addressing not just the symptoms, but the root causes of your pain. You no longer hold onto bitterness or resentment because you've encountered a love that sets you free. This freedom transforms the way you live. You begin to approach each day with a sense of purpose and anticipation, knowing that God is at work. You see challenges as opportunities for growth, setbacks as setups for something greater. The fear that once held you back is replaced with boldness, a confidence that comes from knowing you are walking in God's will. You step out in faith, trusting that He will meet you where you are and provide what you need. And as you take these steps, you see His provision in ways that leave you in awe. Restoration also brings a renewed sense of community. God places people in your life who encourage and uplift you, who walk alongside you in this journey of faith. These relationships become a source of strength, a reminder that you are not alone. You find joy in serving others and being a blessing to those around you. This sense of community reflects God's heart for His people, reminding you that restoration is not just about you, it's about His kingdom. As you continue on this path, you begin to see the beauty in God's timing. What once felt delayed now feels perfectly orchestrated. You understand that the waiting was not wasted, it was preparation. It was in the waiting that God refined your character, strengthened your faith, and positioned you for what was to come. This realization brings a peace that surpasses understanding, a confidence that God's plans are always good. Through it all, you find yourself drawn closer to the heart of God. The restoration isn't just about recovering what was lost. It's about discovering who He is. It's about experiencing His love, His grace and His faithfulness in ways you never have before. And as you walk in this restored life, you become a living testimony of His goodness, a reflection of His glory. You realize that every moment, every struggle, every tear was worth it because it brought you to where you are now, a place of renewed hope, abundant joy, and unshakable faith. In conclusion, the restoration God promises is not merely about reclaiming what was lost, but about stepping into the fullness of His plans for your life. It is a process of renewal, healing, and transformation that reveals His boundless love and faithfulness. Every wasted year, every broken dream, every moment of despair is met with His power to redeem and restore. As you trust Him, lean into His promises, and walk in obedience, you will witness His hand making all things new. The years the locusts have eaten will not only be returned, but multiplied in ways that exceed your greatest expectations. God's restoration is a testimony to His nature, a reminder that in Him nothing is truly lost, and every season has a purpose. Take heart. Remain steadfast in faith and know that the God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it.